Today we're checking out the new Moto G 2025. It's definitely been a couple years since I've tried Motorola phones, so I'm curious to see what this one's like. I paid $199 for this one, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. It weighs 193 grams, so pretty lightweight considering the size. Kind of weird on their website, they show a blue version, but the only option right now is forest gray. It's got a 6.7-inch LCD display at 1604 by 720 resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate. You can see even Motorola doesn't include a charging brick anymore. It's got a MediaTek Dimensity 6300 processor, only 4 GB of RAM. It also has another 8 GB of virtual RAM, which could help some. 128 GB of storage. It also takes a micro SD card to expand the storage as well. I gotta say the texture on this actually feels really nice. It's got some nice grippiness to it, that's for sure. Kind of interesting camera setup there on the back. It's got a 50 megapixel main lens, 2 megapixel macro. Also has an ambient light sensor there as well. And of course a flash. A 16 megapixel front facing camera. Over on the side you've got your power and volume buttons. SIM card and micro SD card slot there on the left hand side. Charging port, headphone jack, and speaker there on the bottom. Pretty nice startup screen on this. You can see the bezels are pretty small on the sides, a little larger on the top, quite a bit bigger down at the bottom. In case you're wondering, this works with an eSIM, a little bit different style fingerprint scanner on the power button than what Motorola used to use. Of course, you have buttons or gesture navigation. The nice thing is you can change the button order on here as well. Okay, pretty nice wallpaper on here. Google Discover left of the home screen. Okay, this might be the least amount of apps I've ever seen installed. There's just a handful of apps from Google, of course Motorola, and then just a few others here as well. Comes with Android 15. I believe this one gets 2 years of major software updates, 3 years of security updates, so not bad considering the price. I actually like the software on here. Feels about as close as you can get to stock Android. Fingerprint scanner actually seems to work pretty good on here. You can see the size comparison next to the Galaxy A16, just a little bit taller there. The front-facing camera looks a lot better on Motorola. I think the build quality on both of these are actually a lot better than you would expect, considering the price. Surprisingly, the screen quality on here looks better than you would expect, considering the resolution. I would bet most people buying this phone probably won't even realize this is a lower resolution screen, because it definitely looks better than I was expecting. This is also Widevine L1, which is good for streaming apps like Netflix, and you can watch up to 1440p resolution for YouTube videos as well. It's only using about 15 gigabytes of 128. That's got to be one of the lowest I've seen. Usually it's in the 20s. If you long press on the home screen, you've got different themes to choose from, different fonts, definitely a lot of different options to customize it. The notification center looks pretty similar to what you would see on a Pixel phone, and you've got a lot of shortcuts up here like screenshot, flashlight, battery saver, Dolby Atmos. You also have system update. When you do recent apps, you have clear all the way to the left, like Pixel phones, but they also add one down here, which I think makes more sense. It looks like you also have the option of 60 or 120 Hz refresh rate. You can also leave it on auto to switch back and forth. As you can see by the Geekbench scores, it's pretty comparable to the Galaxy A16 from Samsung. I think as long as you know what to expect from a phone in this category, I think most people will be okay with the performance, but you can tell this is definitely entry-level performance, especially if you're coming from a more expensive Android phone or an iPhone. You will notice this phone's a little sluggish at times. Just testing out PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite, those games actually play pretty good on here without too much trouble. It may just be at lower graphics or frame rates than some of the more expensive phones out there. I kind of wish it had a little better performance, but it's pretty comparable to other phones in this category. It's got a 5000 milliamp hour battery, also has up to 30 watt fast charging. I also ran my typical battery drain test and it lasted about 15 hours at 100% screen brightness, which is really good. Even lasted longer than the Galaxy A16 from Samsung. Now keep in mind that test is on Wi-Fi only and there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life. It's also going to change the more that you use the phone, but it should last a couple days with normal use, probably longer once once you turn the screen brightness down. The speakers on here are actually nice and loud, and the good thing is you have a headphone jack on here as well. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. In the camera app, you've got Pro, Video, Photo, Portrait, Night Vision. Under More, you have Panorama, Scan, Photo Booth, Tilt Shift, Slow Motion, Time Lapse, and Dual Capture. It can also shoot up to 1080p resolution for video recording. Kind of weird, I don't see where you can change the video quality. I only see photo quality, but not for video. As you can see, it's pretty slow on the shutter speed. Not a huge surprise considering this is an entry-level phone. But here's a few quick samples of photo and video, just to give you an idea of what to expect from the Moto G 2025. Not sure if you can tell from these samples, but I think photo and video quality is probably a little better than I expected, considering this is an entry-level phone. As long as you're a little more patient with it, the shutter speed's definitely a little slower than more expensive phones, but I think once you get used to it, you can get pretty decent results. I may have to compare this a little closer to the Galaxy A16, but I think overall this is pretty much what I expected for an entry-level phone. I may also need to try the new Moto G Power 2025 to see how that one compares to this as well. But if you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.